smart city of Sydney in New South Wales, nestled down on the world's largest natural harbour, home to 4.9 million people and home of the Red Rooster Sydney Super Sprint. The harbour, it's a majestic place. Catch a ferry over to Manly, walk down next to the bridge, the Sydney Opera House. It's a magic place any time of the year. And we're racing once again. One of two races that we get to have in Sydney a year, one at the Sydney Olympic venue, and then this one out in Sydney's western suburbs. And good to have Dean Canto joining me back in commentary.
Hey buddy, how you going?
I'm doing well today. I'm up and about, I'm sprightly, I'm feeling this. The Australian Endurance Championships on track for their second qualifying session. That shower was brief, it's cleared. 1,200 mil of rain we get here in Sydney. I think we just barely had one of those 1,200 in that last session.
Yeah, definitely. I think the amateur drivers would be happy about that after last year. There's a few cars in the fence in that wet session. It's quite low on grip, even with wet weather tyres on around here. So if it was just a damp track with slicks on, they would have had their work cut out for them.
So we've got our work cut out for us, Dean, because we're going to try and crunch the numbers and figure out who gets pole position at the end of this one. There's already been one qualifying session for the Australian Endurance Championship. This is the second and final qualifying session. And how we choose the grid is, well, we get the best time from each driver and we find the average between those two times, and that is how we set the grid for tomorrow.
Yep, and obviously John Martin was quickest in Q1. Just got the guys at the end. There was a red flag and he went out for one flyer and pipped Dom Story. He had a good tenth and a half margin over him.
Would have been a great story if Dom was on top, but unfortunately, just pipped by the Walkinshaw Porsche.
Yeah, but as we said, we've still got this session to play out and then aggregate the times together. So, guys, just getting some tyre temp in. The outside temperature has dropped a lot. I'm happy I'm in the com box here in the warmth.
Greg Taylor getting some heat into the brakes of the Audi. And still a few raindrops out there, so not ideal for finding speed, like you mentioned. Recently back from the Spa 24 hours, so if anyone's got a bit of a clue as to how quickly the weather can change, it's someone who's been to Belgium to see that amazing racetrack. You had a very puzzled look on your face then for a second, Dean, watching that on board.
Just trying to watch Greg. He actually probably needs a bit of encouragement to get into the tyres a bit harder, so he's probably not really warming the tyres up enough. It's going to take him a lot of laps at that pace, but this is actually when you want to do your quickest time. When the track's cold, it's a little bit overcast, the track produces the most amount of grip, so he needs to be leaning on those tyres a bit more and not caressing it, being a bit more aggressive.
Oh, that's it. Slam that brake. You hit that middle pedal very hard then.
It's, a lot of these new GT cars now have got tyre pressure monitors, so you can actually see a live feed of the tyre pressure on your dash. So quite good in qualifying. You know when the tyres are up, and you know, then you can go for your hot lap. But these tyres here, when you pressure them up for qualifying, you really only get 1-2 laps maximum at getting the best out of them for the quickest time.
He's definitely trying to generate some heat by using those brakes like that. It'll help not just in braking performance, but that heat should spread out through the tyre as well and help to warm that tyre to offer even more grip as it comes onto the front straight. It's Dan Gaunt on top at the moment. Those times still have a long way to tumble yet. Here he is, right on cue, the Kiwi. In the Sticks Licorice car, he's got a bit of traffic here. Is that Jim Manolius and the new Hurricane?
Yeah, great car there for Jim, but he's still learning the ropes of that car. Obviously, when you hop into something new, especially for the gentleman drivers, just to find out all the controls and something that I mightn't be familiar with, it takes them a while to get their head around it. But Dan here is still probably warming the tyres up. Hasn't got the fastest sectors at the moment, so probably lap 3 or lap 4 when this ambient temperature will be when they go. So he's actually coming in, so he might have just been on a warm-up set of tyres there. And he'll come and put some green tyres on, sticker tyres. Something we don't get much of as a co-driver in V8 supercars.
No, you forget what they look like.
Well, they were green once apparently, so that's usually what I get told. But the other thing is, obviously, we didn't see anyone exceeding the track limits here in Q1, but as I found in my session earlier in the 86, I got 7 leaving the track too far. Track limits.
Call it a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
4-acre crossing over in the Squirk Audi. It's a famous looking car. Rod Salmon has campaigned it for a few years now, but hasn't done too much driving recently, has Rod Salmon. How about the Darrell Lee car? I haven't seen this one too much throughout the course of the day. The beautiful Aston Martin. That should be Hayden Cooper in that car, who's recently jumped up to second. Brad Shields in the older model Porsche on top at the moment.
Yeah, Dave Russell's obviously just been over at Spa as well with Roger, so he knows this car pretty well. I'm sure he did a few laps that weekend. Oh,
Hadeachi's gone to the top, Dean, and that'll make our sums very easy if he stays there.
Yeah, definitely. So John Martin obviously quickest in that car in Q1, and Russell's just knocked him off, but they'll be a strong combination with the combined times, or the aggregate times, and their penalties for the pit stops, because they're not Pro 1s. Their pit stop penalty will be a bit less than others. So Dave Russell here, going for his lap now. I'd imagine he's just done one, but we'll see if he goes on again. Watch his first sector to see if he betters it using all the track. So he has gone marginally quicker, another 10th up. So this will be it if he does it on this lap, and then that'll be the end of this tyre set.
New South Welshman, originally from Casino, up the coast. Oh, and more rain out the back. Look at that. Sprinkles at turn 6. You can see it's like a sun shower down there. So traction control settings will be up. It's almost like it's raining on that one corner. Like we said, another guy's just come back from Spa. You see plenty of that at the big tracks in Europe.
Caught them by surprise at Spa there. That one section of track, they all come bowling into the corner. And
it was like the last lap just about as well. It was cruel.
That whole distance. So D-Russ has gone on with it here a bit more. Second sector, another purple one. So he will improve his time and put a bit more of a margin to second. So McConville's second at the moment.
These are pretty good laps considering it's raining on one part of the track at the moment.
Yeah, look, there's probably enough temperature in the tyres, and the rain is not enough to affect the grip level at that point in time. So while it looks bad on the television, the wipers haven't come on, so it's obviously not bad. So 27.70 was time there for D-Russ.
It's just 7/10 off Martin's time early today.
Yeah. McConville very close there, close the margin to David Russell. A little bit different than what Cam was driving just before.
You should know.
Yeah, so he's got paddles now in a little bit more power, a bit more downforce, slick tyres.
This is the third race car he's driven today.
Yeah.
He's been in the 86, now the Ferrari. Earlier he was in Nick Percat's Lucas Dumbrell Motorsport car. Very busy. Hayden Cooper pushing on in the Aston Martin. Got the new Mercedes ahead of him, which is Peter Hackett driving that one, and Cooper unfortunately psychs himself out down at turn 2 and needs that little bit of concrete runoff.
Yeah, look, for some of the other not so experienced guys, they'd probably see those few spots of rain on the window and they might actually just ease off a bit because they're unsure about it. And also, if they're not the owner of the car, they probably don't want to be responsible for trashing a $600,000 car.
Yep, I feel exactly the same way. Here comes Tavarshan Hadeachi, Carrera Cup regular, so knows his way around the 911 Porsche, particularly the 991 model, to be exact. And he dives back in, currently sitting in 9th position after his co-driver topped the earlier session.
So he'd actually done his quickest first sector on that lap, but maybe he's going to come in for a set of tyres now. He may have been on a warm-up set. But some guys I spoke to earlier when I was driving the 86, when I was doing the live cross while I was driving, we got Luffy, he's in third. I wish I could cross to him and put him off a little bit. And Tony D. Alberito, he's P8 at the moment. Sorry,
his
mate.
Mexican counterpart.
Yeah. Got to take it out of him, take the mickey out of him.
Well, it's easy for them when they're in here in the commentary box and you're the one trying to race, so this is your right of reply, if anything, Dean. I think that's only fair. So
a bit of traffic there for Greg, but sort of didn't hold him up too much.
It's like a stealth fighter jet with wheels. Still it's raining behind Corporate Hill, and the Jack Brabham Straight, where we're pretty much standing, is completely bathed in sunshine. Yep. Unusual conditions.
Not too many circuits in Australia where you get, you know, one corner can be wet and the rest bone dry. So Bathurst is one, here is another, Phillip Island's another good one, but all the places that usually have high speed attached to them, the circuits seem to have, you know, varying weather in different corners.
And now definitely some showers on the front straight, looking at the windscreen. For Greg Taylor, finds top gear. How will he approach turn 1? Gingerly. we'll call it. And I don't blame him not knowing what the grip level is going to be like with this weather circulating at the moment. Makes a strange noise, this car under brakes.
Yeah, just the compressor from the gear changes. So the little air compressor, which activates when you press the paddles up or down. And especially on a downshift, you're doing multiple downshifts in quick succession. So when you do downshift, that compressor obviously has to turn on to fill up the tank. Millisecond gear changes. It's really hard work. I've been doing a lot of finger weights in the gym to get those clicks a lot quicker.
On the treadmill.
Yeah.
4 acres on for another good lap here, but he was very wide at the exit of turn 8. So I haven't seen any names lighting up yellow yet in this session.
No, so whether they've turned it off for these guys, but yeah, it's hard to say. Look, it's usually only turn 5 and turn 8, but the GT cars obviously a bit more downforce, and no one's really been taking the mickey out of that track limit. So I might have been the only lucky one at the Conville, but he might have learned his lesson, because he got 7 and I got 7, and he's had none in this session. So
back in car number 3. It's a good fit for Tony D.
Yeah, so Tony would still be getting his head around this car. It'd be a fair bit different than the Ferrari. Those new Audis lend themselves to gentleman drivers. Lots of downforce. A little bit slower in a straight line because they trade off that downforce for that. But yeah, he would have to approach this car a little bit different than the Ferrari, learning the way the traction system works. Even though they've all got traction, the way they intervene is a bit different in each car. So he'll get there. He's obviously P3 is no slouch at the moment, but he's got nearly half a second to D-Russ. David's in the older Lamborghini, so doing a great job in that car.
Tony's hopped straight out of Scott Pye's FGX Falcon for Team DJR Penske. DJR Team Penske did it completely perfect.
Yep.
And into this beautiful.
I tell you what, he's having a lot more fun in. Obviously, the tyre quality that you get in a co-driver session in the V8s is they're round and black, but he'd be on a green set now in this thing with a lot more downforce. So. But it's still, again, it's hard to hop from a left-hand drive to a right-hand drive, something that's got so much more downforce and behaves differently than a supercar. But Tony's a veteran driver now, I can call him that. So he's well experienced, and it may just take him a little bit longer to sort of get his head around it, especially in a new car.
It's amazing how old the older model Audi looks at the moment when compared to the new ones.
Yeah, it's been around a long time. Does look dated when you put it next to that nice aggressive looking new Audi.
Greg Taylor going through the last corner.
Gone.
And having a big mid-corner spin. In a very awkward spot for the Aston Martin. Oh. Sometimes it's just best to stay still and let the oncoming traffic avoid you.
Yeah, the Aston was already committed to going to that line, and he's going to take off, but I think that might have been George, was it, Mediki?
Yeah, I think it's Andrew in this car now. Yeah, it should be Andrew in the car right now. Doing a good job to avoid it. Father-son combination in that Aston Martin. Be cool if it was a father-son combination in this car. I reckon Jim could still throw down as well with the Vespa, especially in these kind of conditions.
Yeah, I partnered Jimmy 1 year at Bathurst in the V8s, which was a good thing to have on the resume. I think we finished 5th that year, so driving for Glenn Seaton Racing back then, as it was, or Ford Tickford Racing. But no, Steve-O, obviously he's still racing Carrera Cup, this, Enduros with Lounsey. So won Bathurst last year. He's got a few notches on the belt, the old Richo.
It's going okay. He's a 1994 Formula Ford national champion. That's going back a bit. 22 years later, he's still very competitive in whatever he sits in. Here we've got the reigning Sandown champion, reigning Bathurst champion, and reigning Pertec Endurance champion, all racing in the support categories this weekend. Not a bad list.
Yeah, it's, I mean, obviously for us as co-drivers in the V8s, we need to try and keep ourselves fresh, and any racing you can do is good. But yeah, Richo is probably one of the busiest co-drivers outside of V8 supercars. Everything else that he does. But this BMW, they're still trying to get their head around it and fine-tune it. It hasn't been blisteringly fast this year, but they showed some good pace at Phillip Island in the 101 there.
The M6 popped up for a win at Spa. We were just talking about that race earlier.
Yep.
So the Z4 won Spa a few years ago, but now the M6 is also added to BMW's list of winners there. It's definitely its biggest win, I reckon, since joining the fray, but hasn't really fired in Australia yet. Morgan Haber owns the other one in this country. Here's the Objective McLaren now. Warren Luff at the wheel. Part of the McElrea Racing stable that are going to be very busy this weekend across the Australian GTs as well as Porsche Carrera Cup.
Fairly close, the top four, half a second within them. Funnily enough, all co-drivers in the V8 Supercar Series.
Adds up, doesn't it? Morecambe now jumps up to 5th. That's a good lap from Morecambe. And Grant Denyer was 9th in the earlier session, so that could really see them towards the top. But my tip at the moment, judging by the numbers that we're seeing, Clark Quinn was 8th in his session, and Dan Gaunt 6th in this one. So
yeah, we've got Pateachi 9th.
Yeah,
obviously John was pole. So yeah, look, it's your guess as good as mine, mate. My calculator's on fire over here. It's smoke pouring out of it. I can't add it up quick enough.
It's going to be a real guessing game. Keep an eye on their website or Facebook pages. Or someone's having a spin somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone's had a huge lose. We can hear it. Hopefully everyone is off the wall.
Wherever it was there, 62 has stopped, is that?
So that'll be around the back of the track, and that's the Rouleau Lambo. And it should be Alex in that car now.
He's on his way again, just looking at the monitor over there.
Nice work. Good use of the technology.
Yes.
We have available to us here. Plenty of technology in these cars, plenty in the commentary boxes. We've got 3 minutes to go. Three drivers have set the individual sector times at the top.
Richo's popped up before, so he's found some speed there.
And now Russell is on a fast lap too. Second sector time beckoning for the JBS Lamborghini. The older model Lambo in the field.
Good in a straight line, that car, buddy.
Yeah, very quick.
We've got less aero, so he's, again, in another two purple sectors this lap. But, yeah, this track would lend itself to the Lambo. Straight line speed is awesome in that thing. Suffers a little bit on aero, but probably make up for it a bit around here. Luffy trying to get a toe.
Onto the front straight he goes. And he should lower that marker substantially.
And Luffy will follow him here, I reckon, for P2 or P3, yep.
He does, so they go 1-2. Russell lowers the mark now to a 27.2, which is the third quickest time we've seen across the day in any session. Pateachi, meanwhile, in P4 and looking to better it here, Dean. This could be good enough to see them go to pole overall. Not quick enough in that last sector. There was a yellow flag being waved in that last sector, so it's a bit of a no-no setting personal best sectors when the yellows are waving. And he was quite wise to just button that one off because he's been put down to 5th now with a good lap from Stephen Richards. But Pateachi and Martin, in a rough week for Walkinshaw, looking like potentially going to pole position. And this is why that yellow flag was out at the last corner. Scotty Taylor going for a wild moment to the inside and getting the wall. That car has had a few hits this year, and that was a glancing blow. Could have been worse.
I think it should still be expensive, that one, buddy.
Yeah.
Would have broken the left front, but it's all right. Thankfully, they can have all night to fix it for tomorrow.
Fast part of the racetrack to go firing across to the left-hand side. It's Tony D now, part of this mini co-driver session. It's a bit of a shootout between the Pertec Endurance Cup boys. Russell, Luff, Richards, McConville, Alberto all in the mix. Alberto not looking like improving on this one, remains in P6.
I'll tell you what, the Pateachi out of the you know, non-sort of full-time guys, I guess, or career-based guys, I know he does a lot of driving, but you know, to be where he is quite strong. So barring a good race and nothing going wrong for them tomorrow, they'll be very, very strong, because I think without using a calculator, I reckon they will be on pole.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Dean. Can he improve now? No.
I think he's that's about it. The tyres.
Time to bring those Pirellis back in. He could have one more lap here if he needs it.
Yeah, he might have done a cool-down lap on that one because he was a little bit slower, so might push now. Not that he needs to. I think boys should probably just tell him, look, we're good. But this is probably the other one we need to watch. Gaunty now, he's on his quickest first sector.
Gaunt would just about have to go to the top, though, to take pole position away. Hit the traction control through the mid part of the corner.
Yeah, using a bit too much of the inside curve there. So 2 PBs for Daniel.
Seeing a lot of green sectors on the boards. No purple, though. Checkered flag is out. Dan running it all the way to the exit curb through that last complex of corners. Onto the straight. How far up can he go? He's 8th. Morecambe now into 6th and the other McLaren. But where does the Sticks McLaren end up? Gone up to 7th. Yep. Probably not going to be enough to get rid of the Walkinshaw Porsche off pole. It's very much a provisional and estimate.
I think we've nailed it, Chad. I think we've nailed it, mate.
We've used all our fingers and toes in the competition box. But by being first in one session and 5th in the next, Dean Cantor and I have combined both brain cells of ours to think that it's going to be the Porsche on pole tomorrow. It's an unusual system to work it out.
Time will tell, but
there's still the egg and spoon race to happen in the pits afterwards as well. Which is the third factor.
Funnily enough, yeah, when we do the Highlands 101,
it's actually a race.
Yeah,
a foot race.
There's a foot race to the start. So,
okay, who knows who's on pole, but we believe it's the Pagliacci and Martin Walkinshaw Porsche because it's an average of both lap times, and that lap from Pagliacci was a good one too. To be within a second of his teammates' time, it should be enough on average to send them to the front row of the grid. Good to see Matt Solomon back as well as John Bowe, the evergreen John Bowe, wrapping up the top 10. Jake Foraker and Hayden Cooper enjoying some good spells here today. Shields was at the top early on. Andrew Miedeke in the Aston Martin. Good to see the Conduras boys are back. Glenn Wood, Peter Hackett, unfortunately couldn't go in with the early speed from practice. Tony Bates, who's sharing that car with a DTM driver this weekend. Alex Rullo, Scott Taylor, and Jim Manolis with a bit of work to do off the back of the pack. To the highlights we look. Changeable conditions, we'll call it, lap by lap, corner by corner.
Yeah, the old little sprinkle always puts a bit of nervousness into the drivers, but especially around here. But David Russell went out straight away, set the pace. Lambo, big wide Lambo. Peter Hackett here, just in front of the guys. Hayden Cooper running a little wide. Letting Nathan Morecambe through. Cam Conville.
Yeah, good lap that one from Cam. It was good enough for 4th and actually quicker than the other newer model 488, so he'll be buoyed by that. He'd want to be quick. It's his 3rd different categories raced in today, Cameron McConville.
Can't say he hasn't had enough laps. And that was my mate, Tony D. Alberito. And Greg Taylor had a little spin here at the last turn. Almost came back in front of Andrew Miedeke.
Oh, thought about it. That could have been carbon fibre confetti had they got their wires crossed any more than that one. Taylor found the inside. Ah, here we go.
Hey, called it. Told
yeah,
you.
It was. Yep. See Rullo with a nice spin. Canto using all the technology to figure that one out. This is a wild moment. The STM Porsche glancing off the inside wall. But thankfully, he'll be okay and should come back and race tomorrow. David Russell tops the session, but we believe it'll be the Porsche on pole for the 3-hour Enduro tomorrow. Great work, Dean Canto. Looking forward to his comments tomorrow during the big endurance race. We need another quick break. Porsche Carrera Cup Asia on the other side of that break, but check this out. 51 minutes to go until practice, and we're going to turn the clock back to 2014 when things got a little bit sideways after the checkered flag.